Yeah, so we live. Yeah, we live.
Yay!
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. So today I am here with Jennifer, and we would like to talk a lot about storytelling and growth and all things Substack and everything in between. So, welcome, Jennifer. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm really excited to be here because you're the reason I'm on Substack. So, yay!
Yay! Thank you so much. I love to inspire people to do amazing stuff. So, guys, for those of you who don't know Jennifer, she's on Substack from very recently. Actually, she only has 19 subscribers as of now, more or less, right?
Yep.
But she has a huge arsenal of things to share, and she's just starting, and it's going to be an amazing Substack. So make sure you check it out. Subscribe to her Substack. It's all about the growth and storytelling, and she's helping businesses grow online. But I will let her talk. It's not me talking, it's about you, Jennifer. So, for people who don't know you yet, would you share a little bit more about you?
I'll start with I really dislike this, but I am a best-selling author, and that's kind of how this started was through podcasting, keynote speaking. One morning I woke up and I was like, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. And someone's story changed my life. And that's why I'm here and now a storytelling strategist, mostly for people that want to make a bigger impact, where we don't want to be ripples, we want to be tsunamis of change. So I realized we couldn't chase virality. I want to go deep. And that's what led me back to Substack is because I love podcasting, but now Substack is a piece of it. And, then it turned into I wrote a best-selling book. And that's kind of my story is I want somebody to figure out that their story can create their whole business and really make an impact in life.
Amazing, amazing. What's your book? What's the title of your book?
My book is called Your Story is Someone's Life Raft because someone's story was the reason that I'm actually still here today.
Awesome. Nice. So,
Yeah.
will you share a link with me so that I can share with everyone when I post the recording? It would be great for people to get to know it too.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I'm really curious to know more about how you decided to actually join Substack. It's still a new platform, and a lot of people are still joining. What's your story about this?
So again, I'm done with virality. I got so burnt out, so sick on social media that when I discovered podcasting could help me go deep, that's great. But I'm in someone's ear. It's not a two-way conversation. So I tried all the other things. And one day I was listening to, I don't know, another podcast because that's where I find most of my information. And they're like, get on Substack. So my immediate thing was let's search Substack on podcast players. And no one's talking about it. If you want a podcast about something right now, be like a real podcaster that's teaching people Substack would be great. But it led me to read, I heard somebody say readers are leaders. And I feel like although we're live, we can do video, we can do audio, we can do all these little things over on Substack. It's a depth platform. I like to go
True.
deep with people. I'm a chatty Cathy. I want to know your whole story. I want to know what is it that truly lights you up? And you can't do that on these platforms that were just like, look at me dance. Yay. So that's what led me to Substack. And then I came over to Substack and I'm like, how do I do Substack? And your name popped up. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Amazing. Amazing. So, what do you actually want to do with your Substack besides podcasting? Is it only a
So
podcast? Yeah.
no, my Substack, I really want to go deep. I really want to impact entrepreneurs that want to be thought leaders. So I want to help
Yeah.
people. I led this thing called the Bold Action Collective, where we're taking bold actions. And what gets so lost in the entrepreneurship world is thinking everything has to be so hard and so
Yeah.
complicated. I love that you streamline stuff. Your process really streamlines things. I give people 15-minute actions that they could take each day to move their business forward that isn't dancing in front of a camera trying to
Mm.
get look at me content, to try to get content that goes deeper. So that's kind of where I'm going with this is that I want to make sure people understand that you don't just have to be polished and perfect. Your story is really what's going to connect because People don't
Yeah.
buy from, look at me. They buy from, oh my goodness, that sounds like me. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
you have a solution. Oh my goodness. So that's what I'm teaching people is to find their story. And we're not talking trauma dump. Like, we're not going to say, here's the whole story, but there's always a through line that you can add to connect. And it's that piece that's really missing because we've gone so not human. And I hate to say it
True.
that way, but it's more like how can we pump out so much content? How can we do this? And there's a
True.
different way, and that's what's built my business. I don't actually look for clients anymore. I have a production company that does audio and video for podcasters. I do blogs. I do Substack now for my clients. And I actually don't seek clients because I've built such a referral network because people first. Business is
Mm.
about people.
I
So
love
that's
that.
kind of the story piece of it is it's like once you learn the story, it's like you just want to talk to people.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely love that. It's very, very true. Yes, I'm also obsessed with customer journeys and customer engagement and all things customer. When you put customer first, then things that start happening, and then at some point money starts flowing as well. But if you try to do anything just for the money, it's just somehow it never happens. Somehow never happens.
It burns you out. It's the fastest way to burn out is to focus on
True.
money first.
Yeah, and I agree also about AI. So I think today everyone is using AI, but the only thing that really differentiates us humans from all the AI generated content is actually the story that we can tell from our experiences. And in order to make AI tell that story, you have to actually tell it yourself first and give it to, to AI so that it can reproduce it. It's all about it's everything is in our experiences, and that's what makes us unique, and that's what also lets people connect with us and whatever we do online, and that's how we grow.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I use AI a lot, so don't get me
I
wrong,
do
I
too.
love it.
I do
Yeah,
too, but I think that, like, the piece you said is that you input the story, and I
yeah,
think that there's so many people out there that are teaching, like, "Hey, I know how to build your podcast. I can make you in the top 200 on Apple
yeah,
Podcasts." I've done it to a lot of my clients. I have
yeah,
the proof it can be done, but nobody
yeah,
cares. Like, they want that, but they care more about,
yeah,
like, what did that do for that person?
true. Yeah,
And you
very,
can
very
use
true.
AI to get there, but I think that the story piece is, like,
Yeah,
for you, especially in your method, like, everything I use AI, don't get me
yeah,
wrong, but I think
yeah,
it's really, like, using your words and being human
yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, I use it to draft and to structure my content, but then always I go after it produces whatever it produces, and then edit like crazy, and then infuse it with a lot of data and all of my stories and everything. I do have, by the way, I just recently created something what I call a story bank with micro stories that I have used all across my content. So I extracted all of my content and put it into a database, which I then gave Claude access to it and let it analyze it and extract all of my stories and create a huge story bank for me, so that it can then use this bank while drafting content for me and add some of my stories inside. But it's still not the way that I would tell it. So it's really, really different. It's amazing actually. So speaking about storytelling, can you share one thing, like one I don't know, a technique that makes a great story in a content?
I think this is the hard part because it becomes like therapy to you. It's like, I honestly say, like, drop your whole story, like, record yourself and listen back to it. And there's going to be
Okay.
parts of that story that are going to react in your body. Those are the parts that you infuse into your thing. Like my story, I have a huge trauma story of why I ended up where I did. But I'm like, I heard a story one day. It told me one more
Yeah.
day, this is what happened, instead of having to trauma dump. But I do think that getting the whole story out and listening it back in your own ear and listening to the reaction, those are the pieces that you weave into your marketing, into your connection pieces so that you're not overwhelming people.
Interesting. I never heard of that way of using storytelling actually, but I think it's great. It's amazing. I have used this technique in my 9 to 5 job for for a different purpose. It was a training about presentation skills, like building my presentation skills. I was very young, not that now I'm very old, but it was about 15 years ago, I think. I was a very young leader taking my first team, so I had to learn how to present myself in front of many people, even if it's not public speaking. Still, I had to be the leader in the room, so I had to take this course, and it was really funny because they made me tell a story in front of a camera and a microphone in a room with other people also learning the same thing with me, and they recorded us, and then I had to watch this, and it was really awkward. It was, I mean, I don't want to remember. It was, but it was a different for different purpose. It was not my story. It was a story that we had made up in the class. Um, so it's different. So it's the first time that I hear that you could use actually this for your own story. I think it's great. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's one of the things that makes you stand out, like, from like we were talking about with the AI. It's like
Mm,
if you can feel a reaction in your body. This is one of the things, like, I just worked with a client, and she just told me the whole story, and I'm like, "Here's the pieces that reacted. How do we build this into your keynote speech?"
yeah.
And now her keynote speech isn't just, "Here's my strategy." It's like, "Here's the depth," which brings people in because you cause that emotional reaction, and people are like, "Oh, emotion, lean in. Emotion, lean
Mm,
in." And then when you get them to lean in and you've reactivated their body, they can absorb better into their subconscious mind what you're teaching.
yeah. Yeah. How can you transform this into a written content, like text content?
So it's, again, it's just weaving in that through line, in that
Mm,
storytelling. Like, I can tell you, like, here's a million reasons to or ways to grow a podcast, but
yeah.
if I tell you here's why to weave this in, here's how you back this up a minute and say, does this fit in here? Am I pushing this in to try to create, or am I adding this for, like, context and
Yeah.
emotional value? Because we're humans, we like the connection piece, and we're so inundated with how to's and all of these things that sometimes our brain just kind of zones out unintentionally.
Mm,
Where if we
mm,
can bring that emotional piece back in, so the same with writing is, like, maybe open up with, like, that pain point, that strong reaction, and then tie in, like,
yeah.
"Okay, well, I was growing my podcast and I was told to do it this way. This is why it
Yeah.
didn't work for me, and here's what I created from it," and kind of weaving in that story, "And here's how you can do it too." It gives people the vision of more than just the structure.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I was about to ask you how to use the actual storytelling part in the content for growth, but you just, I don't know, guys, if you if you just notice what just happened right now, and it's a way of storytelling, one that is connected to whatever you're trying to make business with, like helping other people with your expertise, with your knowledge, with your experiences, with whatever that you have that can be turned into a product, and then you turn your experiences of how you created this and how you applied it and how it worked already with all the vulnerability and everything in the storytelling, and then move towards how you can actually you have the solution and how they can actually implement it, and that's a framework in a nutshell that really converts for me as well. That's also what I'm using in my content. And yeah, I think right now I have about 10%, roughly 9-10% conversion rate of free to paid subscribers for people coming organically from Substack channels like notes and recommendations. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's really powerful. And so if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We will be happy to answer with Jennifer. Don't be shy. Right. So, Jennifer, about Substack, you have like from the perspective of the newbie, like there are so many people, new people who are coming to Substack. What's your first impression?
It's love at first post, if I'm being honest. what
Yeah.
I'm I have the concern of it's gonna get taken over by AI, like most of the
Mm,
other things. I mean, even podcasts now, people are
yeah.
literally typing out things, having AI type them out, using AI generated voices, and the content is out there like crazy. But what I'm realizing is the people that I'm finding and connecting with, you feel the rawness in the people that I really can it's a little bit harder to fake here, I feel like. I feel like
Yeah.
we really can create community and connection, and it's still new. And new things last for what, like 18 months? So right now is like the best time to get going because it's like in
Yeah.
18 months, what's it's gonna look like? We don't know. So let's ride this
Mm,
train.
yeah.
But I feel like I mean, I have 19 subscribers and I already got a paid client from here. So like there's depth. And then because I used your system, and
Yeah.
I'm, not even all the way through the quest yet because the beginning of your quest, when you were like foundations, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is what I teach is foundations. Yet my foundations, how do I really want to be on Substack versus on my podcast? And I'm just like, there's this piece of I'm still figuring it out because I'm like, how far can I go on the emotional mindset side of it versus the teaching side of it? On my podcast, I have to be very teaching. But I feel like over here I can bring in more value because I can bring in that depth. I can bring people into like the paid side and let's say, here's your 15-minute action for every day for this month. Let's also meet every day. And that was another thing you said, why not just turn on your paid thing now? And I'm like, oh, well, I need more subscribers. And I'm like, what you have given me is like this push out into the world. And I truly appreciate it, especially through your challenges. Like I'm showing up every day because I feel like I got to tick the little box like, that little box just makes me so happy on your challenges, and, like, it's really
Yeah.
cool because I'm actually having conversations with people, and now that I know that we
Mm,
can do dual lives from my computer, I'm like, "Why not just do podcast recordings from here, then pull them and
yeah.
put them into the other things?" So there's, like,
Yeah.
so much depth here that I'm really, 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 really excited.
Me too, so much, a lot of it. Um, yeah, thank you so much. It's good to know, and it's actually a great example about what I keep repeating from day one that you have to open paid subscription as of day one. If you have clarity about the strategy and what you want to monetize with, and you have created your offer because the offer is what you start first, not the content. And if you have done your homework, then yes, you have to enable paid subscription from day one. So because that's also how you make sure that you are growing and attracting the right people to your Substack. And having one paid subscribers with less than 20 subscribers that in total, that's really really
Oh
amazing. And yeah.
yeah, it wasn't a paid per subscriber even, it was somebody that came into, like, my one-on-one coaching. So, like, I've actually
Oh,
made
really?
yeah, like, I don't have any paid subscribers yet because I just got
Yeah.
brave enough to turn that on, but it was actually a paid coaching client. So, like, I've actually made some pretty decent money off of Substack already
Even
with my
better, even better,
yeah.
I would say.
Because I was able to connect. Like there's different connections here. You don't get that cringe that you feel when you open
Yeah.
up a DM, like on social media platforms. No
Mhm.
shade at people who love to be over there, but you can feel the sale. Where here I feel the connection.
Yeah, yeah, very true, very true. Okay, so Milena says you already have 20 subscribers now
Well,
from
thank you.
yes, yes. All right. Okay. Hi, Marlena. Hi. Nice to see you here. Um, oh, yeah, yeah. Marlena says she's jealous of our mics, probably because of the color. Yeah, right. I think we match colors with Jennifer. We love pink. We both of us love pink, so that's why. Okay, so Finn is asking how does storytelling and analytics work together? How can we quant uh, quantify maybe a great story other than engagement metrics?
So for me, I will step back for a moment and say, like, I love metrics. I love all these things, but I've also let go of a lot of the metrics. I live in California. I'm a single person. I have a pretty decent life without tracking the metrics. For me, the metrics are people communicating back to me. A quality of a great story is something that somebody else sees themselves in. I test and test and test. And when you combine your story with your passion, those engagement metrics do go up. For me, 19 subscribers and a paid client, that's a pretty good metric. Um,
For me
versus,
too. Yeah.
versus, like other platforms. So I really feel like when you start putting the metrics in and we like the analytics and we like the numbers, my podcast used to be called Beyond the Downloads because
Yeah.
I'm for metrics that bring ROI. I went viral, I'm the top 1% podcaster in the world. I spoke on a stage last year of 3,000 people because I am one of the top percent.
Yeah.
But that didn't
Oh,
matter to me because
yeah.
that room of people, yeah, they connected with me, but I got a couple of clients, but what really happened was like I made friends. Now those people refer people to me. So the metrics, how can we qualify a great story? Share it with somebody and if it impacts them. My story was yes, to go deep, I'm going to put a warning label here because it's not great. I had a plan to leave the planet one day. I listened to somebody's podcast. It literally saved my life. If that was your metric, would that be enough for you for knowing a story was great?
Yeah.
So I'm a little like it's one of those things that kind of riles me up. You can tell I'm like passionate about this because I think that the metrics, yes, we want to get it there. We want to have the visibility. We want to have those things, but the metrics is a great story is one that impacts somebody's life. That person
Yeah.
saved my life. I can save the next person's life. So it's really hard, when I came from finance. I used to be I I came from finance, government to finance, if that so I love metrics. I love analyzing stuff. But for me, when I analyze my storytelling and analytics, it's how did I make an impact? Did the impact leave resonance in somebody's body, in somebody's mind, in somebody's life? Did that move forward? Again, I'm decent at storytelling, 19 to converting to an actual paid one-on-one client off the platform. I feel like that way that story is justified. Um, the sweet spot that I'm noticing in here, there's like that sweet spot, like there is a sweet spot. You can't just do story and you can't just do teaching. Like I always
Yeah.
put a little bit of story in there because when you can attach an emotion to a structure, and that could be you're teaching something that's like, I'm gonna take some of this pressure back. Like, I'm gonna offer you, like Finn, I think that Finn is the one that you recommend for the note scheduler, right?
Yes,
Because
and also for a lot of analytics too. Actually, it's his
I'm
tool
like
that I'm using to
I'm like,
analyze it.
his note scheduler changed my life. Like, he may not have intentionally put a story in there, but, like, how you explained it to take the pressure off, I was like, "I don't care what it costs, I want it." And
Yeah.
it's taken that pressure off. So I think when we think of storytelling, we think of like, here's my story, here's my life story, but it's not always that. There's the piece of like, you told a story of like, hey, I use this person's scheduler. This is why I use it. And in that's what you said, it said, I'm going to take some of the pressure off. And I was like,
Yeah.
here's my credit card. Buy
Yeah.
it. So
Love
I
that.
think that there's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of pieces there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell I'm heated about it because I'll just ramble, but, um,
Yeah.
finding that
Mm.
the right analytic is really how can you leave an impact.
Yeah, I absolutely agree here. I would say something very boring, but you expanded it in such a beautiful way. So I would simply say just conversion rate, but that's just me. I'm I'm data driven person. I love data a lot and analytics. I do have storytelling, but it's kind of my storytelling is the kind of the nerdy type of storytelling with a lot of data. You need That's just how I love doing it. But yeah, thank you so much for this. It's really I fully agree. It's how you impact people, and the fact that you have built a business that runs on referrals predominantly. It's a huge proof. Actually, it's not even a signal. It's a proof that storytelling works for your business.
It does. It builds
Right.
community, collaborations, like, we're telling story right now, and, like, that's the whole thing is if you think of your business as the person on the other side, it's easy to tell a
Yeah.
story. It's
Yeah.
easy to emotionally connect.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, but before that, it's maybe we should answer Tara's question. So she's asking, I'm trying to find the sweet spot between teaching and storytelling on the newsletter. Any suggestions?
Oh, I have all the
Hmm.
suggestions. I'm like, I wanna know what you first I wanna know what you do because you're a doctor, so I'm already assuming I work with doctors. I have a couple of doctors in my production. So how we've done it, so I have let's take one of my doctors who is a cancer, like, that's what she does. She's a
Mhm. Mhm.
naturopathic, oncologist. We have
Yeah.
combined in the stories of triumph, and we have combined in the stories that didn't come out as well, but we have added that into the scientific background. Psychologist. I mean, you have so many good stories because you understand people's psychology. So just think of it of like when you're talking to somebody, this is why I absolutely love podcasting is you're in their subconscious mind. So when you're teaching them, let's say you're teaching them like we'll do something super easy, how to reduce stress. Okay, well, how do I reduce stress? So let's say I breathe. Well, what if people are like, that's so annoying? Um, Perfectionism. Okay, I'm perfect and I have to do this. How do I get out of this? We'll show them both sides of the story. You have talked to people, I'm sure, especially if that's where you go into, like, here's this perfectionism. Here's how it shows up in your life. Here's what's holding you back, and here's what it could look like. Bridge some of that gap with your teaching. That is an amazing story arc. Like, I'm taking you from here to here, and then you're teaching through that arc. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
helpful, but that's, like, in a nutshell without having to go into full coaching, like, full, like, training, like, that's exciting, like, perfectionism is hard. Here's what's
I
holding you
do.
back. Here's what's happened when you let go. Here's a little step of, "Oh, I double dare you to go outside and, like, I don't know, have a stain on your shirt," or whatever it is, and just show up anyways. Like, you can show the arc of, like, here's where your stress load is here, and here's where your stress load is there.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's helpful.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully, yeah, Jennifer answered your question, Tara. Let us know in the chat, please. By the way, but in just in case you are asking about, this thin line between being an expert and being vulnerable, and actually showing your, weaker side of in a storytelling. It's something that people are asking me as well. Other people ask me about how to position yourself. Because when you go when you add some vulnerability in your content, then people relate. But then how to position yourself as an expert, and that's the challenge. Actually, usually that's the challenge. And I if that is the angle of the question, then I would say, yeah, I do that a lot in my newsletter as well. Even though I wouldn't say that I position myself as a very great expert, I just try to help people with what I know and what I can do best. And I came at that point in life where I can do that in not an easy way, and I just tell the story of that. It always comes from the experience. But when you finish with something really helpful and positive and tangible, and something that they can, especially doable, something they can take and implement right now, like immediately, then you don't have to actually teach or position yourself as an expert, for as long as you're solving a very painful problem and people find whatever you do just useful. That's why they buy, actually. I actually think that teaching is the ways, like the old way of making money online, is just it's more about actually helping people, like helping them move to point A to point B, like transforming. It's overused word, but it's a transformation, a kind of a transformation. Like, I'm here, I want to have a different life, I want to be in different situation. How do I get there? And then you go, okay, step one, step two, step three. Is that teaching? Maybe. But if you speak from experience and you show that you are actually a normal person, like the average Joe or Jane, who is not an expert and not a superhuman, and doesn't have tons of money to invest in it, and it's actually doable for every one of us, then you don't have to be an expert for as long as you can show that, and prove how it works.
I 100% agree. I figure as long as you're always one step forward, you can turn around and hand someone your hand to bring them that one step. So even if you're
Yeah.
showing up vulnerable, like I started on Substack a few months ago. And would I do something differently now? Yes, I would. Because now I've taken that first step, but now I can help somebody else take that first step. So I think that
Yeah.
what you're saying is so aligned.
True, true. Actually, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be. It's enough that you are already 1, 2, 3 steps ahead, um, than another person, and then you could already help that person. Right. So before I ask you what would you do differently, actually, because I'm curious, I also wanted to ask you what type of storytelling is best to use so that you can grow your business. Um, I don't
I
know
think
if.
Yeah, I think the not over polished story. So I think that you
Yeah.
kind of have to work backwards. Like when you go through your quest, and if you are new here and you haven't taken the quest, go purchase, do the quest because your
Thank you.
foundation teaches you the story piece of it. When you're going through that foundation part, you can start to see if this is what I want to offer. This is my lived story. And I think that that's where the line comes in. Like, I'm passionate about what I do and storytelling and wrote the book about the story being the life raft. And, like started over here, like story is the way of the future and selling and all of these things
Mm,
because story made an impact in my life. There's a part of your story, and it doesn't have to be a trauma story. So many people think like, oh, I've got to have this big, major, like life-changing story to weave in. It could be as simple as like I said when we were talking about, the Substack note scheduler, like taking that pressure off. There's the story of how much pressure I felt like, oh my goodness, you actually want me to post 5 times a day here? And you want me to log in every time and copy and paste and post that? I'm like, how is
yeah.
this any better than social media? I almost tapped out at that moment until I saw your post that's like, hey, I've worked with this person. They started this note scheduler. Here's how it works. But that's a story. So it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be some big life-changing story. But I think finding that through line is just taking like you got to look at it like holistically as a big entire picture of like what's this, what's that, and all those other things. And
Mhm.
then you can kind of pull out your stories just have to have some sort of an emotional reaction in your body.
Okay. Is there a thin line between very personal life story about you yourself as a person so that people get to know you better and a story that's actually connected to whatever you're selling in your business? What do you think?
My whole business is based on my story because I'm here because of storytelling. Somebody told a story that impacted me on a day that could have gone very differently. And
Yeah.
I chose to tell myself one more day, and that was 6 years ago. And now I've
Mm.
built businesses, I'm making an impact. So the through line to my business is I teach people to get away from look at me content, performative, and go deep and connect and build community and collaborations because that's what business is all about. Like bring me back to like old school. Like I wish I was born a little bit earlier so I could have been like old school, like knocking on your door, like, hi, I'm Jennifer. Let's be friends. Oh, and by the way, I can also help you with this. Like
Yeah.
I miss connecting with people because we've gotten too disconnected.
Mm. That's true. That's true. Even though we can connect with people on all types of social media that we have right now, I think Substack is right now the only place where it still feels natural and meaningful, and you could actually have a good conversation and create connection that can become a good relationship, even personal or business or both. Even and it's great. It's great.
And it's an authority
Uh,
builder. I mean, you can turn this into a book, you can turn it into a keynote, like you can turn it into your podcast. I mean, like there's so much when you start going deep, like Substack forces
True.
you to do if you use it properly, which is a good
Very.
force because that's what we need. We need to go deep. Stop with the surface level fluff.
Yes, yes, I love that. Yes, that's how it grows. That's when it, starts taking off. Right. What would you do differently on Substack?
So what I would do differently, which I'm implementing right now, is like going back to the foundations because I came in here with the same mindset of how I built my podcast, with how I built my Facebook community, with how I built my regular community, and it's different. And I think that if I had the time, I would still launch it as it is right now. But I would do what I'm doing right now, which is really taking that time to go inward and be like, do I really want to, is this really the aligned thing that I want to move forward and streamline? Because Substack offers you such great opportunities. Like I would have turned on paid sooner. I would have launched my founding membership as my community, because if you can build that in here, like you really like, especially as a newbie or somebody that doesn't have a bunch of things, or maybe you have too many things and you're like, I don't know what to do, have a paid membership and a founding membership. Paid membership, give them a little bit. Founding membership, give them more access to you. And it's like you literally have an entire business built on this platform. If you don't want to show up anywhere else, you can do everything here. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm really what I would look at now is I wouldn't have built a community elsewhere because I built a community on Kajabi. I dislike it. So I'm moving that membership into Substack because there's so many pieces of and now that there's more things coming out every day, I feel like I'm like, oh my goodness, slow down. I'm a little bit slower when it comes to tech, which is surprising because I have a production company, so you'd think I'd be faster at it. But Substack really, if you take a moment to pause and not just like put it out there, like you said, turn on your paid right away. But if you take a moment to look at your whole business and you're like, where can I be showing up the most with the most? Show up here. And then I gave myself a 30-minute, it's 30 minutes a day, daily structure of where to connect, where to send a post. Like I spend my time here now. And I think I wish I would have done that when I started 3 months ago. But here we are. We're doing it now. We're kind of seeing what works and what fits into my lifestyle. And I think that that's the big thing is like what fits into your lifestyle. How do you want to connect? And it is about people. It's not just about content. It's about connection. If you don't go and connect with people, reshare things, like actually do the work to talk to humans and not just be a content machine, it's not going to work. And I think that was I started with putting out just content machine, and that
Yeah.
is not platform. It's not the same as other platforms.
What else do you do besides posting content?
In Substack,
Mhm.
that's all I do and have conversations in the chat. Like, I'm a chat girl right now. But right now I'm learning to do proper restacks. And a lot of those restacks I like to do with people that I could possibly collaborate with. Now that I know we can do dual lives, I'm like, this is a game changer. Like anybody want to come share a story on my Substack? Let's do a dual live. Let's set it up. This is so fun. I love my
Yeah.
podcast, and my business was built because my original podcast was all interviews. That's why I have an entire referral network now, is because I spend time with people. So
Yeah.
I think this gives you an opportunity to create collaborations where you find people that are like, I call them hanging out on your block. Like, I don't ever like to say competition. I'm like, they're hanging out on your neighborhood, in your neighborhood. We're having a block party of like, who can you kind of like collaborate with that their audience might share your audience, or you might be able to give and take. And it's like, as long as you're doing the give and take, not just like, how can it benefit me? It's about creating relationships. And this is part of it. And now it's in the chats, and I'm getting people either on my podcast, and now after this I will be getting people to come here and do lives with me because these are fun. And I think that there's a lot more, but it's really about like restacking, actually participating and commenting on people and like being meaningful. Like take time, do what you want people to do for you. Build,
Yeah.
build
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
So that's
I
on my
can see
daily
you.
schedule.
I can already see you going on a burst of lives now, soon, anytime soon now. I can see
Anybody
that.
watching that wants to come talk about storytelling, just put like
Yes.
connect with me in my chat and let's do some lives.
Yes. Yes. I'll be happy to do another one with you, by the way. It's so much fun. I really enjoy the conversation. And yeah, so Marlena here, she is great at podcasts too, if I can call it a podcast. I don't know. Yeah, but she's doing great lives already on Substack, and I was with her, I think, twice already, and we plan to do another one very soon in May. But she says, I feel like I have tried so hard to crack my success here, and I think I drove me to burnout, to many ideas, to many lanes. And I think my readers just felt lack of direction because I don't have any. And all I do is interviews. So it would be interesting to sit with someone else who does that. um, yeah. Yeah, lack of direction is it's usually, I think, you have to have that clarity in the beginning, but at some point, that's also what I know from my 9 to 5 job as a leader. We get all of those trainings, how to lead people, how to manage people, how to do this and that. But there's one training that I still remember, and I got really impressed by it. It's the Blanchard training. They don't pay me to say that, but it's amazing. It's the situational leadership, and it says it's all about that you go through the stages of a newbie, then intermediate, then an expert, and then a superstar. Um, from the context of every task, no matter how many experience you have already. And the hard part is when you have a lot of experience, when you are already a proven expert in something, and then you start something new, and then you're a newbie. And then the second stage is when you hit the wall, actually, and you don't see any light at the end of at the end of the tunnel. And that's where most people quit. And if you manage to get over this phase, exactly, then you are on your way to become a experienced, like, type of person in the thing, and then also a superstar, a person who doesn't need any help, and also is able to lead and also help others. So it was in the context of leadership, but it's also valid for any type of thing that we do in our lives. And it's not different with Substack as well. So Marlena, just keep it up.
Yeah.
It's the second stage.
I always tell people, like, when you don't have direction, start posting things, and eventually your content will all start falling in one
Yeah,
way. Like, my journey was like government accounting. I was a yoga teacher and a nutrition coach, chronic pain coach, podcast strategist, then storytelling strategist because I let the story evolve. So
yeah,
sometimes, like, you may start in one thing, and I'm multi passionate. Let me tell you, I have
yeah,
all the degrees, all the certificates. I'm forever learning, but I've really narrowed it down, and there is eventually a through line in the lack of direction. I can guarantee you there's some sort of through line in there that you could bring to your Substack where it
yeah,
becomes a foundational.
yeah, yeah. You have to start there always. Yeah, and I have a lot of things in the quest. By the way, Marlena, you also have access to it. All the answers are there, but I'm also here to help anytime. I'd love to.
Go through the quest. Take the
Yes,
quest. Everybody go take the quest. Because even me, who's been doing this for 7 years, coming over here, like, story selling for entrepreneurs is still kind of wide. I'm still trying to figure out how to niche that down a little bit more where I can actually kind of keep the content in the lines of, like, okay, let's build our business through storytelling, and let's do this. Like, let's move this forward without, sometimes I'm like total emotional posts like, hey, here's what burnout looks like. And I'm struggling with this. Or,
yeah,
like, because there's that mind piece also. So it's finding a way to tie it all back into one core thing. And for me, that's storytelling.
yeah, yeah. It's a great niche, but yes, it has to be, storytelling in what context? It's still
Yeah.
too broad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but I think you have built already a very good Substack, and it's great already. So anyone who wants
Thank
to build a business around stories, it's the go-to place.
you. Like,
Yeah,
and it started
yeah,
with the quest. So I want everyone to know that is like what my Substack looked like before I found the quest and found your stuff is not what it is today. I started Substack. It was a hot mess express. I went through the quest. I really took the time to do the foundations. And I will go back probably every 3 months. I'll probably go back through the quest and be like, I think that we get a little, like, we did the foundations already. No, do them again, because in 3 months, you've already taken another step forward and you can tighten it up a little bit. You can massage out whatever it is that needs to be in that season. So I really do think that, and like I said, as soon as I started the quest, I started growing. And then when I started growing, I was like, oh, look, now I actually got a paid, like off, not paid subscriber, but a paid client because I set this up because of the foundations of the quest. So go buy the quest, go take the quest, start the quest, and take your time in the foundations. It's amazing.
Thank
And then
you.
do it
Thank
again
you. Thank you so much
and
for
again.
the Yes, actually, the quest is meant to be a place to go to anytime that you feel stuck, actually. Because when you take it again, you take it from a different perspective and with a different experience already. So, and it helps differently. So, it's something that does a really great job. It did for me. I just managed to structure it in a way so that it can help also other people. Um, yeah. I do. So Marlena says, I do find myself tweaking things often because I have outgrown the verbiage. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's what it is. So it's a great resource. So when you go through it, and then after, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 months after you gain some experience, and then you go again through it, and then you see things differently. You get different ideas as well, which
Mhm.
is which is I think the most valuable part.
And just don't
But
stop.
yeah, don't
Don't
stop.
stop.
Yes, yes,
Don't
yes.
stop tweaking. Allow yourself to do it. Keep going through it and just keep showing up, because in a year you'll look back and you'll be like, look at the growth you've gotten. Now you have
Yeah.
another business. You can teach somebody else that growth too.
Yay. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so Marlena is driving home to start the quest now. They excited to learn how it goes from you for you. And yeah, so guys, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We are already more than 45 minutes live. It was an amazing conversation.
Sorry.
No, it's great. I really enjoyed that. We should do it again for sure.
I'm
Um,
always around.
yes, it's so much fun. And yes, if you want to grow with storytelling, make sure that you subscribe to Jennifer. She has amazing things in her publication. Okay, okay. So to maybe to wrap up things today, Jennifer, do you have one thing that you want to say to people at the end of this life?
Well, I think, understand your story, but go grab the quest, because I think that if you're here and you're looking to grow on Substack, like, you need the foundations. And yeah, like I teach foundations for podcasters, but I think that the way that you present it to set up for Substack, if you really want to be here and make an impact, you need to be part of the quest. Like, I teach this and I'm telling you to go take the quest. Like, I teach my clients foundations, but there's something different about setting up Substack to get out of your head. And the quest
Sure.
just made it not intimidating. So if you really want to grow here, I do believe in stories. I will, but I think that you really need, like, the quest changed my trajectory here and gave me the belief, and then take the challenges. Like, have some sort of accountability, and your challenges, whether it's the note challenge or I think it's the post challenge. I forget what it's
Yes,
called, but the other
yes,
one.
it is. Yes.
Take those challenges, and if you need an accountability buddy, like, send me a chat. Like, let's do this.
Yay!
So,
Awesome.
so,
Love
so my
it.
my takeaway for everyone is go join the quest. If you can't do that, then at least join the challenges and think about this platform as a way to connect to another human instead of about a content machine.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I love that. It's really the foundation of anything that you do, because if you think about it, almost everything that we achieve in life depends on other people. So make connections.
Yeah, that's
That's the
everything.
most valuable. The most valuable asset. Definitely, definitely. All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer. It was an amazing
Yeah, thank
conversation.
you. Thank you too, and thank you for sharing the space and allowing me to collaborate with you. Because again, you've really changed the game, and I'm excited to see where I'll be in a year.
Will do. We should definitely do this again, and maybe we can explore some other things. Maybe we could do a another collaboration around storytelling. I think it's very helpful when people are interested in asking questions. So would love to. Thank you so much, everyone. I will be posting the recording soon. So yeah, remember also to subscribe to Jennifer. Thank
Thank you.
you. All right. Bye. Bye for now.
Bye.